One day I would drop the drugs and stop being a loser. One day I'd drop the bottle and stop trying to find myself at the bottom of it. One day I would change what it meant to have my family's last name. One day I'd retire my wife so she could do whatever she wanted and not have to go clock into somewhere she hates. And one day I'd give my kids everything they ever wanted so they never knew what it was like to experience pain and abuse like I did. You see, I was always willing to look into the future. I was always willing to look into the future and say, one day, everything will fucking change, even though everyone around me told me to stop. Even though everyone around me told me that shit was ridiculous. Even though everyone around me told me that there was no way that would happen because no one had ever experienced that type of success one day. It didn't matter that they were trying to talk me out of it, and it didn't matter that they were telling me I couldn't do it. I didn't care that they didn't believe in me because I believed in me. Now, I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I knew I could because if they could, I could. If they can, I can. Success leaves clues. There are millions of people in the world seeing grand success and they're dropping breadcrumbs every fucking day. You just gotta pay attention to the steps. They're showing you a path to a better future. They're showing you a path to your goals and aspirations. You just gotta believe in you. You gotta be willing to say one day and then work as hard as you fucking can every day in order to make it happen. Because everything you want is in your mind. Everything that you want to achieve, you can do. You just got to be willing to speak it. You got to be willing to say it out loud. You got to be willing to yell it into the fucking universe and then work towards it. You got to be ballsy enough to speak it out loud. And you got to be courageous enough to scream it to the fucking mountaintops and then deal with the doubt from your family and your friends and the haters and the skeptics and everybody else who doesn't fucking believe in you. You gotta be willing to stand on your word, stand on your goals, stand on your aspirations, and scream, one day I'll do it. One day I'll make it happen, and one day I'll achieve everything I've ever fucking wanted. And once you do that, then you gotta do what needs to be done. And that means you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You're gonna have to sacrifice those weekends. You're gonna have to sacrifice those days out. You're gonna have to sacrifice that TV time. Fuck, you're gonna have to sacrifice hanging out with those old high school buddies. A lot of you guys gotta cut out those old friends, those doubters, those naysayers, those people that have been with you since you were a kid that haven't done anything good for your life. And those sacrifices are necessary because in order to achieve them, in order to reach that pinnacle, you're gonna have to focus on you, yourself, your goals, and your dreams rather than their doubt. Because the truth is this. That one day, that goal, that dream, that reality that you crave so badly is going to come with a price. Are you willing to work later than everybody else? Are you willing to wake up earlier than everybody else? Are you willing to be made fun of, called an outsider, a weirdo, someone who's consistently changed? Are you willing to be ridiculed and talked down to just because you want that one day goal to become your one day reality? Are you willing to run like a wolf, 30 miles, 10 plus hours a day just so you can eat? If you are, you gotta be willing to walk alone. Because people aren't gonna understand you when you start this journey. They're not gonna believe in you, and they're not gonna pat you on the back for starting in the first place, nor should they. It's not your mom's job to believe in you. It's not your dad's job to believe in you. It's not your friend's job to believe in you. It's not their job to push you through the process to make sure you see success. It's not their goals, it's not their dreams, they're yours. And you gotta be willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to make that one day today. One day. That used to be the theme song of my family, one day. One day we'll get that. One day we'll get there. One day everything will change. That shit used to be ingrained in us. It's what we lived off of. It's what we leaned into every day. It became the theme song of my life. City to city, school to school, home to home, we would move around and I would talk about successes that my family have never seen before. I remember sitting on the couch with my baby brother, and while we were watching a movie, a guy pulled up in a brand new silver Audi R8. And that moment shifted my entire reality, because inside me, something started to scream. So I looked at my baby brother, locked eyes with him, and I said, one day, that car will be mine. Now you see, that shit was ridiculous. And it was ridiculous to my family and everybody else around us, because no one around us had ever done that before. No one was driving those types of cars, living in those types of houses, doing anything right with their lives. So when I spoke it into the ether, when I spoke it out loud, everybody started to laugh. Nobody had ever seen that type of success. And nobody had ever changed their fucking life like I wanted to. There was just something inside me screaming, telling me that I needed to do more. I was always talking about the next thing. I was always talking about what I didn't have, and I was so sick and tired of fucking settling. I was sick and tired of my life. I wanted more. So I would just continue to talk about the future and how one day I would change everything. If I did it, so can you. My one day is today. Drug-free for over 8 years. Haven't touched a sip of alcohol in over 2 years. In the last 3 generations, I've taken my family from sleeping on dirt floors in Portugal to million-dollar homes and supercars that no one else has drove with my last name. I retired my wife back in 2019, and she never has to work again. My beautiful baby boy will never understand what it's like to struggle, not be able to eat, not be able to bathe in hot water, or deal with abuse and trauma in his lifetime. My people are protected, provided, and guided through all struggle in life. My one day, that dream, that thought that I had when I had fucking nothing, sitting in that trailer with a hungry belly, not knowing what I was going to do with my life, is now my reality, because I was willing to yell it, I was willing to speak it, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make it fucking happen. And that was only the start. I've got a new one day now, and the work is only beginning.